A big night in D.C. and big NCAA tournament implications for Providence in the nation's capital, taking on the Georgetown Hoyas here at Capital One Arena. There's Ed Cooley, former Providence coach, hugging present Providence head coach Kim English. Take a peek at the Big East standings. So important this game for multiple reasons. Providence a chance to climb into that top five with 2 games left here in the regular season. Top 5 would earn a bye in the Big East tournament. And we welcome you courtside here at Capital One Arena. Jason Ross Jr. alongside Tariq Turner. So Tariq, for this Georgetown group, you have Ed Cooley, of course, a game that means a lot to him, taking on Providence for a second time. And then for the Providence side of things, it is a do-or-die game.
No question. This is a do-or-die game for Providence. They have to win this game to have a chance, because they played UConn in their last game, and certainly this is the more favorable matchup. On the flip side, Ed Cooley gets a chance to play against his old school, his old hometown Providence. A lot of subplots there, and this Georgetown team scoring the ball better, but they've got to guard tonight to have a chance.
Take a look at the Jeep starting lineups here. Who do you want to point out?
Well, for Providence, I love Devin Carter. He's probably the best two-way player in the league. Offense and defensively, he's just a phenomenal player. Means a lot to the team in terms of leadership. And then for Georgetown, Supreme Cook coming off a big-time double-double effort, 15 and 14 in his last outing. He has to play strong inside for Georgetown to have a chance tonight.
Providence won the first matchup by 8 in late January, trying to replicate that result in a very important game for their NCAA tournament resume. Georgetown had a 1-point lead in that game with under 2 minutes to go. Went right down to the wire. Devin Carter was big in that game. His first shot of this one rattles around and out. This Georgetown group coming off a 5-point loss to Xavier. They've liked their offensively to 93 points in that game. It was the defense in the second half that wasn't up to par, but had a 12-point lead at halftime in that one.
Yeah, and that is the concern for Ed Cooley, is can they guard for 40 minutes? Offensively, they're scoring the ball better. As you mentioned, Jay, scored 93 points in the last outing and 85 a couple games before versus St. John's. So defensively, they're going to start man-to-man, and Styles is matched up on Carter. That is the matchup to watch. 6'6" wing, physical. Can he slow down Carter and keep him out of the paint? That's the question.
Floyd's shot off the mark there. Floyd into the starting lineup today with Rich Barron out, who had started the last several games for this Providence group. It's a lower body injury for Rich Barron, the freshman, who's really starting to come on in a larger role as the season grew. Hope to have him back soon. Epps book it from 3. He had 26 the first time these teams played. Get the scoring going today.
Nice job by Epps moving without the ball. He's very good in catch and shoot. Ed Cooley said he wants to get more catch and shoot opportunities for Epps. His percentages are much higher than when he scores off the dribble. More efficient.
Jaden Pierre, his tray answers right back. And we're knotted up at 3 apiece a couple minutes in.
Good looking shot by the sophomore from Elizabeth, New Jersey. Compliments Carter very well in the backcourt and playing with a lot of confidence. Coming off a career high a few weeks ago at St. John's with 17 points.
Epps steps into another 3. Oduro the rebound for Providence. Friars moving quickly, looking for back-to-back trays. That one long, but the board for Oduro. After Ticket Gaines couldn't hit, Oduro does down low.
Oduro so good in the paint with the footwork, and the nice maneuver and the footwork allowed him to get the angle over Supreme Cook in an offensive rebound possession.
Oduro had 16 points in a Providence loss to Villanova in their last game. Have lost a couple in a row. The Friars, a humbling experience against Marquette, and then a good first half against Nova last time out. But now down low on this end, unable to stop Ismail Massoud, as he'll have an and one opportunity coming up at the line.
Yeah, Massoud is an athletic, versatile big, I should say. He's a guy that can put the ball on the floor, can stretch it as well with the 3-ball, and he brings some experience to this Georgetown team. Gets to start tonight. Normally comes off the bench, but I think Cooley wanted to go with a little bit more versatility offensively to go up against this Providence team.
Massoud coming off his best Big East performance. 16 points there.
Defensively, the Hoyas trying to keep the ball out of the paint. They're going to really play through Oduro and Carter for Providence.
We're trapping Oduro early down there. Now Carter will go back to work against the smaller Epps. Oh, what a crafty move from Carter. That's what he does so well. Catch you off guard pretty quickly.
Yeah, he's so good with the footwork, and he had the angle with the up and under. And I think he is really making the case to be a strong player in the next level. He's had a phenomenal year, candidate for Player of the Year in the conference.
Epps' floater answers back quickly the other way. Epps and Carter could be a fun back and forth today.
Well, they both have to attack, and you know, Epps is doing a good job of mixing up his game, the mid-range, the three ball, and he's got to get off to a good start to give the Hoyas some confidence offensively. Spacing so important for Providence as well. As you see Oduro, he needs some space to operate.
Created his own space underneath the rim there, kind of using that rim as an extra defender.
Yeah, and you can see he was kind of directing traffic. He told the guys to give him some space to operate so he can go one-on-one on Cook.
For Providence, the current Mike DeCourcy bracket projection has them as a first 4 out. So this is a big one for their resume with a couple of regular season games to go. They're up too early.
Georgetown is here, and their old coach, Ed Cooley, back in the building, wearing the shirt of a different team.
It was emotional walking out. 12 years, baby. 12 years, very, very emotional. And of course, they're passionate fans. They need to be like that every game. And they are like that every game. One of the hardest places in America to play in this building, right? Trust me, I know. If anything, I should ask Providence College for a bonus check based on the energy that was in here. And that's no lie.
Right, Cooley grew up 6 miles away from that arena. He was born in Providence, 242 wins during his time as Providence's head coach from 2011 to 2023. Of course, emotional at that time. And what was your takeaway from when we chatted with him today?
Well, first off, I mean, you know, people talk about culture and changing the culture. He changed the culture at Providence. What he did was he made it a winning culture where they were consistently in the tournament, not with McDonald's All-Americans either, with, you know, good players that he turned into great players. He built a program, and a consistently dominant program over his time there, and that should never be forgotten. So when he talks about the impact in the crowd there, he is right. He had a lot to do with that success.
Oduro with the finish in transition off the steal there. One of the things that really brought up with us is that love for developing players, and now doing it, bought in totally to rebuilding this Georgetown program after you mentioned all the success at Providence. Wanted something new. It's quite the scene when he went back in late January.
Yeah, I mean, that was a scene. I mean, he had to have an escort, a security escort into the arena. And this is a guy who was at one point the mayor of the town, so to speak. He was that big of a figure in the community, in that basketball program, just by what he created.
Three on this end, and all of a sudden it's a quick mini Providence run to go up 7.
They come out of a timeout and they give up a 5-0 run, and Providence has now got a little momentum. First was the transition basket by Oduro, and then Pierre gets a 3, and Georgetown's got to get back to matching up against their opponents and contest and make those guys drive the ball to the rim.
Felt like a much-needed quick answer there for Rowan Brumbaugh. Was coming off a career-high 24 points against Xavier on 9 of 14 from the field. He's been in their starting lineup of late. Again, no Rich Barron today in the starting lineup for Providence. Another layer of adjustments for Kim English and this Providence team. English, of course, now in the chair that Ed Cooley was in from 2011 to 2023. And Kim English said to us earlier today, kind of new to all the bubble talk that's around your group right now. It is something of, I guess, trying to take the layer of pressure off your roster. But there's an art form to doing that in March.
Well, first off, Kim English has done a phenomenal job. I mean, he has proven that he is the right guy for this Providence program. And, you know, coming off some adversity early on, 3rd game into the season, you lose Bryce Hopkins, and now you're in a position to be in the tournament because you've got great leadership from him, and then 2 players in Carter and Oduro that can really lead on the court. So, you know, Kim English knows how important it is to win this game tonight. On the road, coming off of 2 straight losses. and trying to get off of that bubble and into the conversation firmly.
They've had to adjust, like you said, with no Bryce Hopkins. And not only his offense that he brought had 4 20-point games at the time he went down, but that's a 6'8" long defender as well for you. Speaking of defense, Georgetown trying to turn defense to offense, but they turn it back over.
Well, those are the possessions that kill you if you're Ed Cooley, because you don't get a lot of transition opportunities. That was a situation right there where they had a good ball screen coverage. They get the turnover, and then Epps just leads it too far, and that should have been a layup or a dunk for Fielder. You see the Hoyas mixing their defense up. They're now in a 2-3 zone. And I think Cooley is going to do that to try to keep Providence off balance, make them more of a perimeter team. Great cut there.
And Carter able to slam it home.
Well, he's a great athlete, and he's also a great cutter. And he saw Styles was overplaying him, so he set it up like he was going to pop out and went right back door for a beautiful cut in the dunk.
Carter had 29 points against Georgetown last matchup. Devin Carter's birthday is in a couple of weeks. They'll be hoping to celebrate some March wins when that B-Day rolls around and celebrate another good defensive stand right now. Tim English said he did not want to trade shots back and forth with this Georgetown team. They're getting stops early on. In the corner, Dual's 3, strong. Barron in the game. Again, did not start, but playing, coming off the bench today.
Good trap.
Yeah, they went to that trap early and forced Oduro to throw it off the leg of Fielder there.
Devin Carter, the leading scorer in the Big East, can hurt you so many ways. Explosive, very dangerous without the ball or with the ball. And just watch this cut right here. Styles is overplaying him, and he goes right back door. And probably one of the best athletes in the league as well, all over the rim.
Hustle play to try to save it there from Carter. Georgetown trying to capitalize potentially on some numbers. Heath quickly in the paint. Good defense from Dual. It'll stay at this end.
The defensive effort of Carter is what really jumps out to me consistently. Probably the best on-the-ball defender. Does a great job of chasing down loose balls, those 50-50 possessions. Gets a quick breather right there and right back on the court. Just a big-time player who's gotten better since last year. And when Bryce Hopkins went down, he knew he had to step up his level of play even more, and he certainly answered that call.
Doesn't get too many of those breathers. They use him a lot, and rightfully so. But he'll get a well-deserved one right now with his team up 7 early on, 12:34 to go in the opening half. Fielder catch and shoot 3. It's a big one for Georgetown to cut the lead back down to 4.
I really like this young man. He continues to get better. He can stretch the floor. He can finish around the rim. He's only a freshman, and you can see that he's improved, playing with a lot more confidence than earlier in the year.
Ball will stay at this end.
They're trying to get, Coach Cooley is trying to get his Hoyas team to be more connected defensively. He talked about it before the game, talking, calling out rotations, being linked together. And that is how they were able to play such a good defensive effort in their last game versus Xavier in the first half.
You felt that was maybe their best first half of the year.
I really did, and it was really on the defensive effort. They held Xavier to a low percentage, under 30 points, I believe, and then they gave it all back in the second half, was not able to sustain it. But just from a 20-minute perspective, very impressed with the way they played in the first half.
Yep, about doubling that up today to try to do it for 40 minutes. Epps will be an integral part of that effort all game long. He's going to go to the line. 4-point lead for Providence. Josh Oduro off to a nice start for Providence. He's got 6 on 3 of 3 from the field. His team up 4.
Great job. Make sure we stay connected defensively. Hey, when we're on top of them there, we talked about this. The backside of our defense has to be there to take away the back cut. The whole offense runs through 2 dudes. That's it. 2 guys. Their whole offense is iso ball, and if we're connected, listen to me, be connected and communicate. We don't have to run out on Garway. We want him to throw up a shot. If he makes one, okay. Know what personnel you're on. Barron could shoot 3s. Gaines should shoot 3s.
And that's exactly what we talked about a few minutes ago. Being connected, understanding what Providence wants to do. They want to play through two guys. Devin Carter and Josh Oduro, those are their horses. They try to feature them, get them as many touches as possible, rightfully so. These guys are their leaders. And whenever they need a big basket or a big stretch of possessions, it's always going to involve these two guys. And then the other guys complement them by spacing the floor, making threes, and finishing along the way. But ISO ball is what they play. And Georgetown, what he was saying was that when Carter back cuts, there's got to be backside help. There's got to be another layer of defense to protect the paint so he can't get a clean look.
We've seen one of those wide open dunks off the back cuts from Carter so far. Meanwhile, a nice answer from Georgetown before he went to break, and Epps at the line to make it a 3-point game, chance to make it a 2-point game. And these two squads went right down to the final couple of minutes in late January up in Providence. Georgetown had a 1-point lead with under 2 minutes to go. Then Devin Carter went on a mini run of his own.
Yes.
Was so clutch down the stretch in that game. Game that had several lead changes, several ties.
They're going to double Oduro and try to make someone else beat them. Now Georgetown's got to rotate to get out to shooters.
Dual has to take a tough pull-up. Didn't matter, contested, and got it to go nonetheless.
Well, good ball movement. It started with the double by Oduro, and then it's all about finding the right man and just reversing the ball. And they kind of dared Dual to shoot the ball, and he knocked it down, the freshman.
Epps has been confident and aggressive early, got his own rebound there, and went back up strong.
Well, he's coming out attacking, and you like the fact that he's getting into the paint. He's not settling for jump shots. Nice little hesitation dribble, which is one of his patented moves to get to the paint. And Hoyas dropped back into a 2-3.
He's got 8 of the first 15 for the Hoyas. This is a zone that we saw Georgetown operate with in the first meeting. Providence did get a good chunk of their points in the paint against that zone. Pierre cut off, though, this time. And it's deflected out of bounds. It's going to go back to Georgetown.
Yeah, good rotation by the Hoyas. And it's all about keeping the Providence Friars off balance. And Coach Cooley very good at making adjustments. And defensively, his Providence teams were always very, very good and hard to beat because he was always playing scout report personnel and trying to take away your strengths.
Georgetown surpassed last year's overall win total along with their home win total. The 2 Big East wins they have, both have come against DePaul. Epps had to make a mid-air decision, little improv that didn't work out. And now Carter will loft it up the other way, looking for Castro, but it's through his fingertips.
And that would have took this crowd out of it. If he would have converted that, that was a good look or good thought, but a little bit too far of a pass to complete. And defensively, Castro, 6'10", switching out on Epps, trying to use his length.
Epps tried to exploit it. Ultimately, that possession didn't turn into 3. Carter, extra pass. Will this be 3 for Providence? Barron couldn't get that to drop. Now Heath on the move. Epps will pull up. A good rebound there from Bristol Jr., and he drew a foul.
Georgetown, they want to play with pace selectively. They're not always looking to push, but they want Epps to look for his shots and try to get the ball up quickly. And he has done that so far tonight, carrying the Hoyas offensively. And defensively, the Providence Friars switching out on the perimeter and they're trying to keep Epps out of the paint. And right here, they'll switch and put Castro on him.
See if Castro's up for the test. He is early on. Then Epps takes everyone to the rim and passes the test. Chance for 3. And some words exchanged at the end. Technical foul handed out here as well.
Big time move by Epps with the contact. Didn't bother him. He finishes and kept his body control and concentration. And then he kind of stares down Carter. And Rich Barron didn't like that. Standing up for his team and a little chirping, and
Double technicals here, Zurich?
Yeah, I think so.
That is a double T. Epps converts on the free throw with the and one. Got ourselves a tie game.
Yeah, and Epps has kept them in the game single-handedly, and that's good and bad. It's good that they're getting good production from their best player, but you would like to see some other people step in. If you're Ed Cooley.
Castro draws a foul down low. Ed Cooley's second crack at his former team. Of course, his players, such an added layer of emotion that felt like they handled really well last time playing Providence. This time a different build-up and lead-up with this game being in D.C. But Georgetown, again, they were so resilient in that game, and they've been resilient early on today to come back and tie this game with 8:52 to go in the opening half.
Yeah, but on the flip side, Providence is a really good team, and let's make sure we kind of make that clear. This Friar team is on the verge of making the tournament. Kim English has been phenomenal. I mean, he's coming off of 2 years previously at George Mason where he won the 20 games last year. One of the best, I don't want to say best young coaches, but he's one of the up-and-coming stars in the coaching business, if you ask me. And he's got great leadership that he inherited with Devin Carter and Aduro, and they really bought into how he wants to play.
Carter came up a bit short. Aduro will check in. You mentioned him, one of the players that followed Kim English from George Mason into the Providence uniform.
And, Aduro, he just had a baby boy. Him and his wife, Caroline, had a baby boy in February, and Coach English was named the Godfather. And Coach English said that was my proudest moment as a coach. And that tells you what kind of relationship he has with his players. He's watched this young man, Aduro, grow up from a young boy to a grown man now with his own family, and brought him with him when he signed the line to be the head coach of the Providence Friars.
Aduro
phenomenal year.
Right on cue, gets the rebound. His son Gabriel, congrats to him in White Caroline. Got a tie-up call. Arrow would go the opposite way.
We got a good one going here. Providence trying to steal one on the road, and Georgetown not giving up. Physicality at his best.
Down 18 apiece with 8 minutes to go. Very competitive, much like the first matchup. Tonight's By the Numbers is sponsored by AT&T Business, the next level network. You see here Providence's resume as it stands, projected as a first four out team, right on that bubble range.
Yeah, and it's kind of nerve-wracking time for Kim English because he knows that they're close, but they're not close enough. And getting a win tonight will certainly position him in a better spot. They will go to 10-9 in conference play with one game left versus UConn, and we know how good UConn is. So that's kind of where they are, but they definitely need to win one of these last two, in my opinion, and I think they're one of four teams that is fighting for a spot in the tournament. When you talk about St. John's, Villanova, Seton Hall, and then Providence, those four are fighting for their life, so to speak, to get off that bubble.
Providence has beaten Marquette and Creighton. Those are two top 10 wins. Those look really good on the resume. Carter skies up for the board, averaging 8 rebounds per game. One of the best rebounders, along with one of the best scorers in the Big East. Is 21 points per game in Big East play. Leads all Big East scorers. Now, speaking of tournament projections, Mike DeCourcy. This is a look at the Big East teams that he has in, again with St. John's there, last 4 in, and Providence first 4 out.
Yeah, and I'm not so sure Seton Hall and Villanova are in yet. I mean, I want to kind of say right now, I think there's 3 locks: UConn, Marquette, and Creighton, and then I think Villanova and Seton Hall are making a strong case, especially Seton Hall with 11 league wins. But I can't say I can't definitively say that Seton Hall and Villanova are in. I think they're close. And then St. John's, certainly, they play tonight after this game versus DePaul, and then Providence. So I think there's 4 teams, those bottom 4 teams on the graphic, that are fighting for their lives, so to speak, and the other 3 are pretty comfortable.
Today and Saturday, 4 still left in the regular season, but also opportunities in the Big East tournament on the horizon for those teams trying to get in.
Absolutely. This is a moving target. The conversation we're having tonight could change by the end of the night. And that's what makes it so exciting as we're in March right now.
Pierre operating with 2 fouls. Gaines will whip it over to Floyd.
Well, Georgetown doing a pretty good job defensively of forcing Providence to take tough contested shots, and that is Ed Cooley defense. On the flip side, Georgetown got a little bit more momentum on a 9-2 run in the last stretch of minutes.
They've definitely got Providence in a mini drought right now offensively. Fielder tried to snap the tie, couldn't. Providence scoreless in the last 5 minutes. Can they break out of the snide here on this possession?
When they need a basket, they're going to Carter, and he's the guy that they turn to. Carter does a great job of running off screens, rarely gets tired.
Oh, wide open down low. They just had someone sneak open. It's Ticket Gaines to finally end that drought and put Providence back in front.
This is a great read by Gaines. He saw that his teammate Pierre got doubled, so he cut right through the middle of the paint to an open space for a high percentage layup.
Ticket Gaines has followed Kim English from Tennessee to George Mason and now to Providence. A block at the opposite end by Carter. A whistle. It came in relatively late. We'll see what we have here.
That was did they call a foul? Because I thought that was a beautiful block by Carter.
Looked like a block off the window. Yeah.
Not sure what they called here, but that patented hesitation move that Epps uses so frequently. And we'll watch it again, but I thought that was a clean block.
It's being called a medical timeout. Ticket Gaines is in the corner of the Providence bench and appears to be a little shaken up.
Okay, so the foul, there was no foul called. Got it.
No foul, a medical timeout. And Ticket Gaines being looked at by Providence athletic trainer Chris Higman. So we'll keep an eye on his status.
And watch Georgetown, they like to trap the wing pass, and when they trap it, there's an opportunity for Providence to get some cutting action.
Go back to that sequence where it looks like Ticket Gaines got injured, the grad student right there along the baseline.
Not sure what happened there.
Yeah.
Looked like he might have got hit in the face.
He wears the mask, took it off immediately. Meanwhile, a cut that doesn't turn into 2 on the attempt there for Floyd. Georgetown could have numbers if they hurry. They're trying to go fast, maybe a little too fast. And now Floyd and Providence with a chance to answer. It's a trailer 3 for Carter. Well off the mark. We'll want that one back.
Georgetown got a break because they turned the ball over in the previous possession. And Carter, very good in catch and shoot situations, airballs it. So they escape without giving up a basket. Providence up 2. This is a low-scoring game so far, and defensively, both teams playing kind of a chess match, changing up the defense, especially Georgetown.
Bristol reloading. Can we be in store for one of those grinded out, rock fight type Big East games?
Those.
Maybe?
I like those. They don't always have to be high scoring.
Dual couldn't hit, and it right now feels like that type of a game. Is that favoring Georgetown?
I think it does, and I think Georgetown is going to have some success if they keep mixing up their defense. Playing that zone has been good so far, and you look at Providence, they started out hot 6 of 9, assistant 3 of 17. I think the changing defense to the zone has something to do with that. Providence team, not a great shooting team, only 33% from three, which is in the bottom of the league.
Heath couldn't cash in there. Good to see Ticket Gaines back in, wearing the mask. He's adjusting right now as he goes up the floor. Carter adjusts and dumps it off to Dual for an easy two.
Carter, he's just really good at finding those seams, and when he gets into the paint, he's either going to score it or make the right decision. And that was not a great job defensively by the Hoyas, letting him get in the paint too easy.
Epps, floater, short. He's done so much good work for this Georgetown team in the early stages of the game. Now late stages, opening half. This final three feels big. In the corner, Perrin, who was a little banged up entering today, battling through it and cashing in from deep to extend this Providence lead to 7.
A little run by the Friars, and Aduro, not just a scorer, he can be a facilitator. A little short roll action, great cross-court pass for a high percentage three. The Friars on a 5-0 run.
(25-18) here in DC. Providence up on a little mini 7-0 run. Turning on the gas pedal in the last couple of minutes. We weren't sure, Tariq, if Rich Barron was going to play. He's kind of battling through a lower body injury. Comes in, knocks down the three. We talk about those final mid-8, I guess you could say. Final 4, the opening half, first 4, the second half. Feels like a big stage right now.
Oh, it is. And, you know, you can see the importance. Look at both of these coaches' expressions and their energy. And this is a major game for both teams. And, you know, the Hoyas, you know, started out the game 6-12 as Barron makes that three. And, you know, Barron is really important because he's part of the rotation. So he gives them another guy that can stretch the floor, can guard 1 through 3, and this improves their depth because they normally only play about 8 guys. So Kim English certainly happy to have him back, even though we thought he wasn't playing. It's the time of the year where you got to gut through some of those injuries and give your team as much as you can. So good to see him on the court.
You said it off the top of the show, a do-or-die game for Providence, trying to build on their resume. Currently looked at as the first 4 out, but still opportunities on the horizon, including playing UConn on Saturday night on Fox. But right now, first and foremost, their goal is to get what'll be a quad 3 win on the road if they can pull it off today. Up 7 here, under 3 to go in the opening half.
And the Hoyas have been scoreless in almost 6 minutes, so they have had trouble scoring the ball all of their last 12.
Barron battling, came up short. Hoyas, like you mentioned, 0 for their last 12 now. Brumbaugh coming off a 24-point game. Can he create here? Trying to scoop his way through and does.
And that'll get you going, and nice job. Brumbaugh, who did a really good job in their last game versus Xavier, had 24 points, and a lot of it came by dribble driving and getting into the paint. Nice job there.
Dual had space. He was feeling it from 3 in that game against Villanova last time out. So Georgetown cut it to 5. Can they cut it down even more? Will they count that? They will. Little continuation action for Dontrez Styles.
Yeah, and that was like an NBA continuation, right. But I like it.
Hey, we're in an NBA arena, right?
Yeah, we're in an NBA arena. And that was a clear foul, and nice job getting the ball up the court. That was some early offense action by Georgetown, and when they can do that, that helps their defense because they can get back and get set.
You see Gaines there had the mask that he needed to adjust earlier. 2 stickers on his mask, one dedicated to his grandparents and the other dedicated to his uncle. Meanwhile, at the line, Dontrez Styles.
Oh, so they did not call it. They called that on the floor.
They did.
Okay. We thought it was an NBA continuation, right? But it wasn't.
So again, on the floor.
And Ed Cooley is trying to figure it out because he thought it was a He thought it was a 3-point play.
Everyone did, and then so
we did too.
Georgetown in the bonus. Yep. Nonetheless, he gets 2 points out of it. but not the 3 that they initially thought they were going to get with the continuation. One more level up in this building, and you get that call.
That's right. A little three-quarter court pressure by the Hoyas off the foul shot. Just trying to change the tempo.
They've been doubling Oduro all game, and they drew what essentially will be a turnover in the form of a drop.
Yeah, and that was a nice job trapping Oduro, keeping their hands high. And when they swarmed him, Oduro kind of panicked a little bit, shuffled his feet. Easy call.
Slips. Luckily, Brumbaugh was there for the Hoyas. Still ample time on the shot clock. 90 seconds to go in the first half. Brumbaugh somehow got that feed down low to Cook, whose name we haven't called a ton today, but he cuts it to a 1-point game.
Well, nice job by Cook sealing Oduro, put him on his backside, and Brumbaugh with a perfect bounce pass that led him right into an angled layup. And Georgetown getting a little momentum now, going back into that zone.
Tariq, you can't say enough about the answers from Georgetown today. Now a 6-0 run to get right back within 1. Looks like this will be a foul called.
We'll watch Supreme Cook go to work down low. Their best big man, and he just gets right in the middle of the paint, seals Oduro, and gets that angle. And, you know, that is important because Cook's the kind of guy that feeds off his energy, kind of inspires the team.
Pickett gains, and Ismail Massoud got a little tangled up there. It'll be a foul on Massoud.
It's been a pretty physical game, Jay.
Yeah.
A lot of contact. Just tangled up Massoud and Gaines.
Means a lot down the final stretch of the regular season. Oh, what a move from Oduro. Crafty.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's really talented. He's got great footwork. And he got the one-on-one matchup he wanted, and that reverse pivot, ball fake, just too much for Cook to handle.
I feel like his footwork, the quickness of it, sneaks up on people a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, he's kind of unassuming. You think he's kind of a plodding big man, but he's pretty nimble.
Dontrez Styles is starting to feel it on this end for Georgetown. They're within 1 again, inside a half a minute to go in this first half. Timeout called by Providence.
1 possession left. Providence will try to hold for 1 and regroup. But watch Oduro here. He's really good at stretching and putting the ball on the floor, especially when he can face up. If he can get to his right side, that's his strong side. And the ball fakes and the footwork is what allowed him to get to that point.
The series of moves all the way out from the free throw line is so impressive. I mentioned the importance of this game for Providence. Georgetown trying to carry momentum into the Big East tournament, but you look at Providence right now, first 4 out, projected. So the last 4 in, St. John's in there.
Yeah, you got St. John's who's on a little bit of a better run the last couple games and won their last 3. Played DePaul tonight. Virginia has been up and down lately, but Tony Bennett has a knack for finding ways to get his team those big wins when it's most necessary. And then Providence, obviously, first 4 out, you talk to Kim English, and he's really confident in his team. He believes in them. He's got them, you know, understanding their roles and understanding the magnitude of the moment right now. And, you know, this has been a closely played game, but when the game's on the line, you want number 22 with the ball, Devin Carter.
See if they try to get him involved again. They do. Right on cue. He'll drive, kick it out. Barron been feeling it from deep, and he books another right as the buzzer expires. Got that off in time, and he gives Providence a 4-point lead going into the half.
And that is why we said Devin Carter's the guy you want with the ball. He's either going to make a play for himself or his teammate. Just watch him split the trap at the top of the zone and just makes the perfect pass to Barron, who's giving him a lift off the bench with his shooting.
All right, entertaining opening half, just like it was when these teams played back in late January. 30-26, Providence leads it. Fighting for their NCAA tournament lives, Ed Cooley in his second crack at his former team, trying to get an upset win today. Fun first half. Between Providence and Georgetown here at Capital One Arena as we bring you inside and courtside. Jason Ross Jr. to returner with you. So that first half, I mean, it had the resilience back and forth from both sides. It had the defense. It had the shot making. Your thoughts so far?
Well, I thought it was kind of a rock fight kind of game, defensive-minded game, tough, hard-nosed, a lot of hard cuts, a lot of physicality, and, you know, Providence separated a little bit at that last stretch with Devin Carter's playmaking ability. I thought Oduro was very good with 8 points and 6 rebounds, but not a lot of offense. It's been more about the defense, and I think Providence, their two playmakers, have been the reason why they've been able to kind of get a little bit of a cushion. But Georgetown not going away. I think Epps is off to a good start. You can see the stats right there. I liked his aggressiveness early. He's got to pick that up where he left off in the second half.
Barron hit that three at the end of the opening half at the buzzer for Providence. He's battling through, being a little banged up today, kind of an epitome of this time of the year. You're battling to the finish line and trying to, for Providence, pad their resume. Currently viewed as a first four team out, and Georgetown in Ed Cooley's second take against his former team this season, looking to pull off an upset. Just 4 points separating these two teams that went down to the wire the first time they played. Pierre will dish out corner three from Gaines, trying to open up the second half on a high note with the board for Supreme Cook. And here is Epps, who, as you mentioned, 11 points in that opening half, was in control of things, ignited the offense for Georgetown to keep them in it. They're definitely in it.
Yeah, and, you know, Epps has got to be aggressive. He's got to also get his teammates involved. And this guy right here, Brumbaugh.
Mistake for Brumbaugh, but came up well short.
Another great hustle, another loose ball, 50-50 ball by Carter. He does all the little things along with the big things, scoring and rebounding and assisting.
There's that defense that you like on display early in the second half. Supreme Cook gets fouled, and he'll go to the line.
Nice strong move by Cook. Trying to take it to Oduro, and here's Brumbaugh. Beautiful fake. If you got points for a fake, that was it. But he didn't finish it. And that's the next part of his game. You got to finish. Just a freshman showing some promise. But I think he was a surprise a little bit of how open he was after the ball fake.
He was coming off a 24-point game against Xavier, career highs. Like you said, just a matter of the consistency, and there's a very bright offensive future there for Rowan Brumbaugh, DC native. Supreme Cook, flip it over, a senior at the line from East Orange, New Jersey. Played last few years at Fairfield.
He came out early during halftime to work on his foul shooting and looked good on that second one. Only 57% from the foul line, but putting in the work to try to be more consistent.
That's something that could definitely come into play down the stretch of this one if it stays the way it has been. Floyd Jr. about as open as he's been all game. Couldn't cash in. Brumbaugh wearing a couple pair of pink sneakers that you can't miss today on the Georgetown side. Dontra Styles the other. Cook can't miss that move down low.
Yeah, that's just good action right there. Screen and roll action with Supreme Cook as the roller. And a nice drop off by Brumbaugh, who, when he puts pressure on the defense by getting in the paint, he's a pretty good decision maker.
Deep three from Carter. How about that? Not afraid of the moment whatsoever.
And Epps got caught with his hands down, was not alert. He thought Carter was too far. That wasn't out in his range, and he made him pay. Carter's a big-time player.
He's currently matched up against Epps. Definitely keep an eye on that. The lob up to Cook. Made a nice catch. Couldn't finish. Oduro, some athletic balance to just keep it in bounds. You feel like Carter's on the brink of finding the groove here. Into the lane he goes for two.
Well, he can take over the game in stretches, and he's got a knack for knowing when that time is. Kind of quiet in the first half, but the second half he looks like a different player offensively.
Is that not what we saw the first time these teams matched up?
Absolutely.
I mean, he took over down the stretch. Every time the Georgetown's had an answer, this time the answer comes in the form of what will be free throws on the brink of a potential and one, but instead of being 2 free throws.
Devin Carter with the deep range. And no, I think his game is just really complete at his best when he's driving and finishing around the rim, but he will make you pay from deep as well. And I think he is the best two-way player in the league. Defensively, he's a great on-the-ball defender, great athlete. I would say he's one of the best rebounding guards in the country, but take away guards, he's one of the best rebounders. He averages 8 boards a game, only 6'2". And I think he's going to be a first-round pick. I mean, he's really positioned himself that way with his consistency.
The 21 points per game in Big East play. Leads all players in conference action. Here is the Miami natives, Carter.
Yeah, learn from his dad.
Yep.
Not a bad guy to learn from. Currently the coach for the assistant coach for the Memphis Grizzlies. Played in the NBA for 13 years. Anthony Carter, his dad.
You can tell he's playing with some confidence now. Got called for some steps there. He thought it was tapped out of his hands.
Well, that was a good job defensively with Styles and Fielder kind of corralling Carter. And when you make him play in the crowd, you give yourself a little bit more of a chance. And that was a good rotation by the Hoyas.
No call, goes down. Providence knows it. They're trying to run. Here comes Carter again. Easy finger roll and a capitalization.
And that's their transition game at its best. Carter, their best finisher. And nobody stops the ball, and he has no trouble finishing.
Of course, he was coached by Ed Cooley last year. Massoud was looking for a quick answer there. Perhaps a little too quick. Speaking of quick, Pierre, oh, there he goes. Playing with 3 fouls, doesn't matter. He's got the Providence lead up to 8. And a mini run for the Friars.
A little mini run by the Friars, 8-2 run, and it's coming in transition. They picked up their tempo, they're running, and they are finishing, and the Hoyas got a lot to talk about with the timeout.
8-point Providence lead. Key part of that momentum brewing here from Devin Carter over the last few possessions. He's really starting to find his groove.
Yeah, I mean, he's starting to take over, and it's not just the scoring, but it's really this is aggressiveness. He's picked up his driving, and his shot making is certainly one of his greatest strengths, but he just knows when to take over and when to kind of, focus on the little things. And I think right now he knows that the first half he kind of felt the game out. The second half he's come out in attack mode, whether it's in transition. You saw the big three kind of in, half court action, and he's the kind of guy that he'll do whatever it takes. He doesn't have to score 30, but he can. But he can also get the stop. He can get the rebound. He can get the loose ball. He'll do whatever it takes.
You see that 30th straight game in double figures. Longest streak since Marshawn Brooks had 33 in a row for Providence. That is good company. And they'll need him to keep doing that down the stretch of the regular season and into postseason play. Again, his birthday's in a couple of weeks. He hopes to be celebrating some March victories.
A little full court pressure by the Friars here. And now you got Carter guarding Epps, so that is a nice matchup, and Carter takes a lot of pride in shutting down the opposing team's best player. Let's see how he fares here.
Any adjustments needed for the Hoyas right now in this drought, or is it simply they've had the mindset of answering back and they've done it?
They've been playing through Brumball, and I think Epps has got to get more involved. Here's a turnover by Styles.
Ed Cooley didn't like it, but Georgetown will be on defense when we come back, and they're trying to guard that guy right now, Devin Carter. Not an easy task. We got a couple of birthdays today, birthday shout-outs. First off, it's Rich Barron's birthday. freshman forward for Providence. And to continue the Providence birthday shout-outs, Arthur Parks, who handles all our media relations for Providence, does a phenomenal job. His son Sam is celebrating his 21st birthday today. So happy birthday, Sam. Arthur, by the way, has only missed 2 games during his time at Providence, nearly 30 years. One of the games he missed was 21 years ago today when his son Sam was born.
Yeah, I asked him what Sam was. He said, Sam's in Miami. He doesn't have time to be with me right now. I think he plays baseball, and he's in Miami enjoying his life. Happy birthday.
That's a big birthday, 21. Happy birthday, Sam.
And Arthur's a great guy, as you said, a fixture with Providence, and SID has done a really great job.
Providence up 8. There's 4 of their last 4 from the field. Ticket gains, 2 on the shot clock. Carter is the one you go to when the shot clock is winding down. It is the largest lead of the night for Providence.
Yep, and this is what he does. He makes those shots when the team is in a bail and they need to be bailed out. And he is the guy that is either going to make that pass or shot at the most timely time.
This looks like a foul called on Providence during that rebound.
And Carter has taken over this game. He's got 14 points, 10 in this half. And right here, just a beautiful dribble handoff. He just relocates, and Styles just gets out to him too late. And Carter on the verge of another big night.
He seems to like the second half against Georgetown and opponents in general this year.
I just, like I said, he'll do whatever it takes to win. He doesn't really care about stats, but he clearly knew coming into the second half he had to be more aggressive, and he has done that.
When you have a player like that in March, so important. Here's Epps navigating. This is the player who's gotten Georgetown back in it each time they've been down. Styles fading and cashing in. Dontrez Styles answers back.
Of course, that was a well-needed basket. Georgetown was searching for some offense, and Styles, he's got to continue to be aggressive. They want him to take shots and use his size over the defense.
Gaines, catch and shoot. 3, chance for 4. Ticket Gaines going to the line for one more.
Yeah, Ticket Gaines, a 6'7" grad senior. Excellent catch and shoot guy. Shoots about 34% from 3, but when he gets his feet set, he's really confident, and Jay Heath just gets out to him too late with the closeout. Not a good foul, and Ticket Gaines trying to make a 4-point play.
Takes around 5 threes per game typically. The latest of which turns into a 4-point play. Ticket Gaines in Providence up 13 in a do-or-die game really for them, resume-wise.
And they're playing like it.
Kim English said a big opportunity slipped through our fingertips against Villanova. They're not letting the opportunity slip through their fingertips right now. Carter lost it down low. Lead feed up ahead. Georgetown needing to cash in on this possession, and they do with the dunk for Supreme Cook. Second half was the issue in Georgetown's last game against Xavier. They were brilliant in the opening half, maybe their best opening half of the year, half in general of the year. A foul called here on Bristol Jr. And a look at a much-needed bucket here for Georgetown.
Yeah, Georgetown pushing tempo, scoring off their defense. That was off a turnover, and Supreme Cook with a strong finish. He's really been their only guy down low that's done any work in the paint. Other than him, it's been really a guard-driven attack. Epps has quieted down in the second half. He's got to get going as Providence is starting to separate.
Your way, Dual, Houston, Texas native, loses out of bounds. Gonna stick with Providence here.
Well, the shot clock winding down. You know who the ball's going to. That's the first option, number 22. Great slip by Oduro.
And he gets an easy 2 out of it.
And that was a great read by Oduro as everybody cheated towards Carter, and Carter has so much gravity You'll watch Carter coming off the out of bounds. The defense thought he was going to get the ball. And as Oduro sets a screen, he slips to the rim and gets a wide open layup. Good two-man action.
They worked on these out of bounds plays at shoot around earlier today, and the work paying off.
This Providence team is just executing at a high level second half.
All right, so we're gonna have a little fun here. How about some maybe a little form of trivia? We talk about resumes, talk about tournament resumes. We've touched on Providence's quite a bit. These are 2 blind resumes for you. A who goes dancing guess of 2 teams with these resumes. What are you going with?
Yeah, I feel like this is a trick question, but
Yeah,
I'm going to go with the left side.
I'm going to agree with you.
Well, we're going to find out. Wow.
Well,
It's pretty good.
Half of our viewers would hope to agree with you as well today. Providence fans, that's your resume at the moment. Again, you get the top 10 wins earlier over Marquette and Creighton, 2 huge ones on the resume. And here is the NCAA tournament projection according to Mike DeCourcy. At the moment, first 4 out for Providence after that loss to Villanova. Going into the game against Villanova, they were kind of right on that bubble there and talked about around that 11 seed range. So this can change quickly if you're a Providence fan.
And while we're talking about it, here's the last 4 in. And you'll see St. John's out of the Big East, Virginia out of the ACC. I mean, there's so many different scenarios that we could actually see between now and Selection Sunday. But I do know one thing. There's 4 teams in the Big East that have to play like their lives depend on them. One of those teams is playing tonight, the Friars, and they are responding to that challenge. And then you got Seton Hall, Villanova playing tomorrow night. That's a huge game. And then St. John's playing tonight at DePaul. So those 4 teams have got a lot at stake if they want to go dancing in March.
Yep, must win for Rick Pitino and the Red Storm after this one today on FS1. Epps able to finish there.
That's his first basket of the second half.
Almost tried to jump the passing lane there, and the crowd is on the edge of their seats waiting for him to do it. Georgetown still a bucket away from making it a single-digit game, so certainly nowhere near out of it. Gaines tried to pad the lead. Rebounding is paramount in this one. Castro dumped down low, and Dual the deuce.
Well, it's so important to get that effort from role players. And Castro hasn't played a lot of minutes, but he's had good energy. And just a great play by the big man in the offensive rebound to give the Friars a second possession.
They call Castro slim. He's on defense right now. Able to slip past him there was Fielder to keep Georgetown within striking distance. Fairway Dual wears that number 3 because one of his favorite players growing up is former Hoya Allen Iverson, who is known for that number 3.
He's known for doing a lot of work in this building, in this city. They're trying to make it more difficult for Carter, but
that's off the foot of Dual, so it's going back to Georgetown.
Well, defensively, the Hoyas are trying to kind of blitz Carter and make him get rid of the ball, but this Providence team does a good job of moving it, even though there was a turnover there by Dual. You know, Barron can stretch the floor with the threes. Ticket Gaines, certainly another guy that can space it. And then I really like what, as you call him, Slim Castro has given them some quality minutes off the bench, the 6'11 sophomore from Dover, New Jersey. In this second half, they're playing Epps more off the ball, and I like that, although I'd like to see Epps get a little bit more aggressive. He's only taken 2 shots.
Oh, cashing in from the mid-range and stepping it back is Fielder now. He has given them some good boosts off the bench.
And he's got a lot of talent, and I said it earlier, he's playing with a lot of confidence. He can handle the ball, he can pass it, good in dribble handoffs, and he's got a nice touch along with the athleticism around the basket.
Loose ball, slipped out. Who can corral it? It's going back to Georgetown.
Friars taking it hard to the rim, and Dual, the freshman, making it happen. Losing streak versus ranked teams. They probably don't even know that, nor do they care.
Yeah.
But that's our job to talk about that, and that's something that I think could possibly change tomorrow with UConn playing great basketball. They don't care if they're on the road or at home, and certainly with Tyler Kolek out of the lineup, they're a different team without one of the top point guards in the country.
It's a shocking stat that jumps out at you, but part of the intrigue of that big matchup on FS1 tomorrow when they try to snap that streak on the road. Fielder, who originally committed to Providence, then decommitted and followed Ed Cooley to Georgetown, has been feeling it over these last few possessions, and he fills it up there.
Well, great recognition by Fielder. He got the switch, he had Carter on him, and he went straight to the basket and went strong. And I really like the fact that he is being aggressive. He's not just out there rebounding. He's taking shots, he's driving the ball hard, and been very engaged offensively.
He sparked a 6-0 Georgetown run.
Good
They're
hands
back
right
within
here.
7. And they have a steal here.
That was a good trap on Aduro, causing a turnover.
Chance to get within 5, maybe 4 on this possession.
When they use Fielder as a screener or a roller.
Oh, Styles tripped up inadvertently, but a foul called on Ticket Games.
Drew Fielder, the 6'10 freshman, showing that talent and potential. Nice job attacking the basket and taking advantage of his size. And here's just Styles trying to get baseline, and Gaines gets called for the foul.
Styles, his last 3 in double figures. He finds Epps. Fielder has sparked this run. He wants it back. Was calling for it. Same drive. Shot clock didn't reset, out of bounds anyway. Frustrated with himself after that, but a good idea.
Yep, good idea, and Cooley he can live with that because it's an aggressive mistake. He's trying. He's playing hard. He's playing with effort. And sometimes it just requires that, because you can't just depend on Epps and Styles to make all the plays.
You need those other pieces. Fielder, second opportunity here to redeem himself after he gets the steal. Up to Epps, kicks it out. Brumbaugh, jab step, drive, and what do they call before the shot? A blocking foul.
Hoyer's playing through the paint now, and I like that approach. They're not settling. They're driving it hard. Brumbaugh, more of a penetrator than a catch and shoot guy, and Epps certainly likes to get into the paint as well. So they're putting a little bit more pressure on the Friars defense by attacking those gaps.
Now another foul called on Providence. Each time Providence has stretched out the lead, and at the largest it's been double digits, Georgetown has kind of grabbed a new lifeline.
And that is the 17th foul for the Friars. So
9:51 to go.
This is because Georgetown is attacking the paint. And when they do that, they're not only putting more pressure on the defense, but they're putting themselves in a position to get to the foul line. Styles 80% from the stripe, and one of their better free throw shooters.
Gets the bounce.
And that is the 3rd foul on Gaines. And Cooley calling out his defense. Expect some kind of full court pressure off this made foul shot.
Ed Cooley, who
a lot of time left.
Yep, a lot of time left for Ed Cooley's group. They played with an added layer of emotion in the first matchup against Providence. Now the second time that Ed Cooley's faced his former team, and that emotion has charged them back into this game after they trailed by 11 earlier in this half.
And Kim English directing his team. This is the time when they go through a little bit of a drought, they're going right back to number 22, Devin Carter.
That's tapped out by Fielder. Chance for Georgetown to get even closer here. And Epps, that might have been deflected. It was. by a Providence hand out of bounds with 9:32 to go.
Defensively, Providence is, the matchup is Carter on Epps, and as the game winds down, Carter is known for shutting down opposing team's players.
Should be free throws coming up here for Georgetown in the bonus.
That is Carter's second foul. So one way to get back in the game, Jay, is simply make some foul shots.
Keep getting fouled and getting the bonus.
Keep getting fouled.
9:51 to
right.
go. So Brumbaugh doesn't hit that free throw, but ever since Providence went up 13, it was their largest lead, Tariq. It's a 8-0 answer since then for Georgetown to cut it to 5. Carter slashing and getting fouled.
Well, no surprise. You call a play for Carter coming off a pin down, and he's so good at drawing fouls, getting angles, and using his body as a shield to protect the ball. And he's the kind of guy that just doesn't get tired. You know, he never looks winded. He's always at the top of his game.
Carter hits that free throw. Tonight's Jeep stat comparison. Carter, Epps, the matchup we've been watching all game. Kind of tale of two halves for each player there.
Yeah, and Carter certainly comfortable closing games out as he did in their first matchup when he took over the game in the last 2 minutes at Providence when they beat Georgetown earlier this season.
Carter with 16 points, 12 of those have come in the second half. Styles against Gaines, a 0-on-0 matchup and an offensive foul.
Great job by Gaines, moving his feet, the lateral quickness. He beat Styles to the spot and drew that charge, and watch him move his feet. And Styles extended out that left arm, and an easy call with the push-off offensive charge.
Gaines, a grad student, such a smart defender, two-way guy. Nice pass. Oh, there's the connection between Ticket Gaines and Devin Carter for an easy slam on that back cut you talked about earlier.
Great execution. It started with Gaines with a little cross, kind of misdirection cross screen at the top of the key. And he knew that he was going to set that up and be patient, wait for Carter to get the back cut. And that's exactly what they did.
Friar fans who have traveled making their voices felt now. Carter a chance to get this Providence lead back to double figures. Extra pass, Barron catches in.
And that is a team with experience and trust, moving the ball and making the open shots. Another big three by Barron.
7-0 Providence run on the road. What an answer from Epps. Contested, pulls Georgetown back within 9 with 7:33 to go in the second half. Should be a fun finish down the stretch between these teams that are so tied in different ways.
One of the reasons that Friars are so tough to beat is because of their ability to make runs and sustain them. And the ball movement, the teamwork, and even though Georgetown is responding with a big shot right here by Epps, this has got the kind of feel to the game, Jay, where the Providence Friars and Kim English are locked in to get a win on the road and go 10-9 in the Big East standings, get themselves a step closer to getting off that bubble.
Kim has done such a great job with having to utilize different lineups today. He had to do that again today with Rich Barron battling through. a lower body injury, so started Corey Floyd. Of course, Bryce Hopkins went down earlier in the season. That's a player who is an elite scorer, who is an elite defender, still navigating and flourishing. Kim English took his talents to Providence in the offseason after a great stint at George Mason. Such a bright future for him as a coach.
Yeah, you know, I had a chance to cover him last year when he was at Mason. I was so impressed with his leadership, his ability to communicate and connect with his guys. And, you know, he's not too far removed from playing. He's 35 years old. He can still get out and play with these guys, do drills, guard, and even play one-on-one sometimes. Is Barron, wow. Big-time move. He's giving them a huge lift. And another guy that can score the ball off the bounce or off the catch. But Kim English, you know, he's the kind of guy that is easy to like, easy to root for because of his ability to lead. And very organized, very disciplined coach. Guys like playing for him because he lets you play your game, but he's got a lot of structure to it as well. And I'm really impressed with his job so far this year.
Kim English had his team circle up after shoot-around today, as most coaches do. But what he said in that circle really jumped out to me. He kind of brought the players back to when they were younger and asked them, why are you here? And reiterated the love for the game that you have as a basketball player and what brings you to this moment at this stage of a basketball career that only so many players get to play on this level. And reiterating that during a long season feels important as you touch on that connection you have with your players. That's great.
And, you know, that resonates with guys, the players. You know, it's like, hey, why are we here? Well, why are we doing this? And, you know, again, he's a former player, great player at Missouri. He's paid his dues, has been at a few different stops. He's got a great assistant in Dennis Felton who has showed him a lot, kind of been an older mentor to him. And, you know, even when we talked to Ed Cooley about his relationship with Kim English, he said, look, we support each other. We want to beat each other during the game, but we support each other.
Big opportunity for Georgetown and a big block on the other end by Garway Dual of Providence. Wow.
One of the better defenders in the Big East. Yeah. Just a freshman, long, athletic. Great timing here to save a layup.
And a layup that would have brought Georgetown within 7. Chance to do it again on this possession, though. And that's the go-to. Dontrez Styles. They call that a long 2 they did in the corner.
Yeah, nice job using the jab step to get some space. And Georgetown trying to speed the game up a little bit defensively and take a little bit more chances, trapping. A little full court pressure here.
Nearly forced a turnover. Instead, here is Mr. Clutch for Providence, Devin Carter.
And here's a mismatch.
He's like this matchup against Fielder. Fielder trying to hustle down the rebound. Couldn't do all. How about that effort from him? Gets the Providence crowd that traveled on their feet. This is going to go back to Georgetown after a couple of good effort plays.
Great effort. Chasing down the ball. Looks like Carter might have hurt his finger or jammed his thumb. And both teams playing extremely hard here. A lot of time left. Georgetown still believes they can win this game. Ed Cooley getting this team organized in the half court.
Georgetown had a 1-point lead with 2 minutes to go in the first meeting. They're down 7 here with 5 minutes to go in the second meeting. Nice extra pass in the corner. Bristol couldn't quite get that to drop down. Good look, though.
Yeah, great look. Great ball movement.
Both head coaches on their feet. Conflicting chants from both fan bases here at Capital One Arena. Second to last regular season game for both teams.
Go back to that Carter play where he jammed his finger. Looked like it might have happened right there on the Bristol follow through on the defensive attempt. Looked like he might have got a piece of his thumb. That won't keep him out, though. It's a tough young man.
One of the toughest that you'll find Mentioned earlier off the top of the show that Providence currently sits 6th in the Big East standings, in the top 5 earn a bye in the Big East tournament above that red line that you see on your screen. Villanova currently has that spot. Villanova coming off the win over Providence. That's why that game was so big. And here's what the bracket would look like in the Big East men's basketball tournament if the season ended today.
Yeah. I tell you, I guarantee you by Saturday this will be look totally different.
Yeah.
Which is, I love this because there's so many different unfolding real-time scenarios here. And you know, the one thing that's clear that UConn, Marquette, and Creighton, they're not going to change because they are the top 3 teams. And then it gets exciting. It's like kind of a jump ball between a number of teams trying to figure out positioning going into the Big East tournament.
Battle for this loose ball. It's an important battle. It looks important.
Oh, great hustle there. Georgetown's got numbers here.
Transition 3. Same spot that they took it from before. Styles couldn't hit. Remains a 7-point game.
Another great rebound by Devin Carter. This guy averages 8 rebounds. He's got 9 tonight. One of the best rebounders in the game.
Earning his group opportunities. Did they get a foul there?
Yes, they did.
They did. Crowd was getting really amped up and you almost couldn't hear the whistle.
Yep. They're going to call it on Brumball in a reach, and it is a good call. He got half of his arm.
Both teams in the bonus now.
Hey, you know, as we get closer to the game, I do want to shout out Gus Williams. You know, I had a talk with Joe Hassett, the great Providence player, now the radio analyst, color commentator for Providence basketball. He was teammates with Gus Williams with the Seattle Supersonics when they won the championship in the NBA in 1979. Gus Williams was the point guard, averaged 28 points in the finals. And Gus Williams had a stroke about 4 years ago and is recovering, and just want to give a shout out to him and his family. Yep. Joe Hassett, a good man, spent some time with him earlier today in the Maryland area, and that was a great team that Gus played with Lenny Wilkins as the coach, Jack Sikma at the center, and a lot of other good players, including Joe Hassett. So thoughts and prayers to Gus Williams. We're thinking about you.
Legends. Epps. They're getting pretty good looks from 3. They just haven't fallen the last few possessions.
You're exactly right. Sometimes it just comes down to making shots, and they have not made shots in the second half, and that can certainly be frustrating.
Devin Carter was favoring his finger on the last possession for Providence. Oduro dumps it down low. This is going to be a turnover and a travel. Time is dwindling on Georgetown's comeback effort. Devin Carter trying to push through some pain down the stretch here in the nation's capital. Thanks, Rob. Well, as our friend Tim Brando would like to say, bubble-licious talk here. Got your Big East bubble teams. And Providence right there. We have St. John's coming up next on FS1 against DePaul. Villanova and Seton Hall, 2 teams you don't think are definitely not guaranteed yet to be in. But the resumes here. Let's hone in on Providence's resume and the wins that they have. The quad 1 wins, the 2 top 10 victories over Marquette and Creighton.
Yeah, those jump off the page for you, and they should. I mean, you win 2 top 10, you beat 2 top 10 teams, and those are significant in terms of the body of work, the resume of Providence. And then, you know, they got 5 quad 1 wins. That's significant as well. And now it's going to come down to how they finish off, right? They lost their last 2, took a step back, losing to Villanova in their last game at home, and then they got blown out by Marquette at Marquette. So, you know, they have some time, certainly, they're taking care of business tonight, or trying to. Still a lot of time left, but I think this Kim English-led team has the leadership. And remember, they had to overcome some significant adversity. Imagine if they had Bryce Hopkins, right?
Yes.
They would be certainly a lock to be in the tournament, I think. And
probably top 4, top 3 team in the league.
No question about it. I think so. And no one's feeling sorry for them. They certainly aren't feeling sorry for themselves. And now they're just trying to live in the moment and finish this season out with some momentum.
When Bryce Hopkins, you see him there, went down in early January, at that point he had 4 20-point games. It's the offense, it's also the defense that he brought to the table.
And the leadership.
Yep.
I mean, the combination of Oduro being an older player, even though he's new to the Big East, and then Carter and Hopkins knowing what the Big East is like coming back for their second year here, that would have been a really formidable trio, you know, with Hopkins and Oduro down low and Carter in the backcourt, and then the role players doing what they do. But they've had to regroup, and they've done a great job. And Kim English, man, he's done a really great job of making sure these guys believe in themselves and stay connected.
We wish Bryce a speedy recovery. Providence is able to break through the trap there and turn it into 2.
Well, those broken plays that end up in baskets certainly deflate you if you're Georgetown, and Carter continues to make plays, and there he is again with another steal.
Gets it done not only on offense but on defense in the biggest of moments. Doing that again today in the final 5 minutes of this one.
He's done all the little things along with the big things. That's why, you know, on the next level, he's going to be a good pro, because he can guard, he can rebound, he can do the little things, and then he makes me look bad with a turnover.
Epps off the fingertips of Carter. I think more often than not he's going to make you look good, though.
That's right.
In first round draft pick,
good
possibly.
Point.
And there's a reason why.
Yeah, good point. He's allowed to make a mistake here and there.
Multiple Big East Player of the Week awards this year. So crafty. The hand seems to be okay that he was shaken out earlier. I thought Donnie Marshall had a great point on the last Providence broadcast, that he gives you what the team needs when the team needs it. 2:48 to go in this one. Fielder and the Hoyos need some points. A little strong.
Well, offense has not been, their offense has not clicked in the second half. And some of it's just coming down the shot making. Otherwise, it also has, they've gotten bogged down. They haven't had the spacing. And Epps has not really been able to get going in the second half as he did in the first.
Barron had that one blocked, but got it back. 5 on the shot clock. And it is Carter. Foul down low. Looks like it's going to be against Georgetown.
Yep, a hold on Fielder, trying to box out Oduro.
Double-double today for Devin Carter. 11 boards, 18 points. It's going to be Oduro going to the line here.
And for Carter, it's not just the scoring and the rebounding. It's the 4 steals, the 3 assists, the timely assist to end the first half for the Barron 3. That gave them a little bit more of a cushion. It's the little plays that are really big plays that kind of swing the tide in terms of momentum. And Jay, Josh Oduro, this is a guy who not a lot of people knew about in the Big East because he came from George Mason with Kim English. But this guy has gotten better throughout the year. And he's put up some huge numbers against some of the top bigs in the conference. He had, 32 and 8 against Kalkbrenner, 32 and 12 against Kalkbrenner at Creighton. Versus St. John's, he had 28 and 9 versus Soriano. And then versus Klingon at UConn, he played well. So he's put up some huge numbers, not as big tonight, but he's been a really impressive presence for this Providence team.
Did good to step out on Epps there. Now Carter the board.
Another board for Carter, 12 on the night.
Providence's final regular season game will be a golden opportunity against the #2 team in the country in UConn at home on their senior night in Providence. That'll be 8 p.m. this Saturday on Fox. Right now, 90 seconds away from closing this one out on the road. It would be a pretty big opportunity to just get another quad 3 road win here. Bounce back from their last loss against Villanova. And the Friar faithful that traveled, they're proud.
Yeah, they are. And, it's not a pretty win, but it doesn't matter. This is a toughness win. If you hear that crowd. And I can assure you Ed Cooley will remember this in year one here at Georgetown, building something, taking his lumps, but he will be ready for a bright future as Devin Carter closes his game out.
Well, the Providence fans, they let Cooley here when these teams met up in late January, and they've traveled to try to continue to let Ed Cooley hear about it. But
the environment here is much more friendly than it was in Providence when he came up there.
Tad more friendly here. Brumbaugh draws a foul.
This Georgetown team, they're young and they're building something, and it may be hard to see it right now, but this is a team with a core of guys. When you talk about this young man Brumbaugh, and then certainly Epps and Styles, and the Supreme Cook and Fielder, they'll be back stronger, more confident, and more familiar with the Big East and understanding what it's like to play for Ed Cooley. When we talked to Cooley before the game, he said, look, it's going to take some time, he knows that, but changes are already taking place behind the scenes in terms of how they change their infrastructure. The leadership is aligned from the president to the board. I'm sorry, from the board to the president to the AD to Ed Cooley, and that's what you want. Everyone aligned with the same vision.
You turned to me during one of our commercial breaks and said each time you've been here, it feels like Georgetown has been more and more competitive in different ways throughout the season, and you felt it again today.
I did, absolutely. And certainly in the last game versus Xavier, they competed and fought hard.
Pierre snaps it down low to Carter, a connection we've talked about all night long.
This Providence team is certainly a team that is in a better position tonight, going 10-9 in the league and getting ready for a tough game at the Amp, which I think is one of the best fan environments and hardest places to play if you're an opposing team in the league.
And it'll be senior night. It's UConn, then the Big East tournament for Providence. Carter, style points added on to this one, thanks to Devin Carter.
He's been the best player on the floor, and he's done that a lot this season with 20 points in the second half. Big time game.
He has showed up in the biggest of moments and done it again against Georgetown today. Styles with a late three, but Providence is going to take the 83rd all-time meeting between these two teams and get above 500 in Big East play, get an important road win. Two good friends, Kim English and Ed Cooley, will shake hands for the final time in the regular season. A fun one tonight here that ends in a Providence win. Eric Mandia was our producer, Victor Gonzalez, our director. For Tariq Turner, I'm Jason Ross Jr. It's a Providence victory. Let's toss it back to the studio.